This is the story of Amara, a young woman whose heart was too big for this wicked world. Amara was not rich in money, but she was rich in love, loyalty, and beauty. She lived in a small one-room apartment in the busy city of Abuja, working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. But Amara had a secret joy. His name was Kelvin. Before we'll know what happened next about Kelvin, I want you to take your time and hit that subscribe button. It's help and keep this story burning. And if you are still here reading to this story, I want you to tell me where you are from in the comment and what time is it right there. Now let's begin. Kelvin was a billionaire. He was the CEO of K Group Industries, a man who drove the latest cars, lived in a mansion that looked like a palace, and had the world at his feet. People often wondered, how did a poor girl like Amara end up with a big man like Kelvin? It was simple. Amara had been there before the billions. She had been there when Kelvin was just a young man with big dreams and an empty pocket. She fed him when he was hungry, prayed for him when he was hopeless, and encouraged him until he climbed the ladder of success. But as the elders say, when a man has eaten to his fill, he often forgets the hands that cooked the food. One Tuesday afternoon, tragedy struck. Kelvin was in his high-rise office, shouting at his staff during a board meeting when suddenly he grabbed his chest. His face turned ash gray. He gasped for air, his expensive suit tightening around. When she arrived at the VIP ward, the atmosphere was cold and heavy. Doctors were running up and down. Dr. Cole, the head specialist, walked out of the intensive care unit looking defeated. He saw Amara, the only family Kelvin seemed to have present. "Doctor, how is he?" Amara cried, grabbing the doctor's white coat. "Please tell me he is fine." Dr. Cole sighed, removing his glasses. "I am sorry, madam. Kelvin has suffered acute kidney failure. Both kidneys have shut down completely. The toxins in his blood are rising fast. If we don't get a donor within 48 hours, he will not make it." Amara froze. The room spun around her. "A donor? Then find one. He has money. He has billions. Pay anybody." "It is not about money," the doctor replied sadly. "It is about the match. We have checked the national database. We have checked his distant relatives who came around. None of them is a match. His blood type is very rare. Unless a miracle happens, you should say your goodbyes." Amara walked into the room where Kelvin lay. He looked small. All his power, all his arrogance, gone. Machines beeped rhythmically, beep, 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 counting down the seconds of his life. He opened his eyes weakly and saw her. "Amara," he whispered, his voice dry like sandpaper. "I don't want to die. I have so much money. I haven't even enjoyed it. Help me." Tears rolled down Amara's face. She held his hand, which was cold and trembling. "You won't die, Kelvin. I promise you." She marched out to the doctor. "Test me," she said firmly. Dr. Cole looked at her small frame. "Madam, donation is a serious procedure. You are young. If you give 1 kidney, test me." Amara shouted, her voice echoing in the hallway. They ran the test. 1 hour passed. Then 2. Then 4. Finally, Dr. Cole came out, holding a file with a look of disbelief on his face. "It's a perfect match," he said softly. "In all my years, I have never seen a compatibility this high between 2 people who are not related by blood. It is like you were made to save him." Amara smiled through her tears. "Then do it. Take my kidney." But back in the waiting room, Amara's mother, Mama Ngozi, had arrived. She was a village woman, poor but wise. When she heard what Amara planned to do, she screamed. "Amara, have you gone mad?" Mama Ngozi shouted, clapping her hands in despair. "You want to cut open your body? For who? For a man who has not paid your bride price? For a man who hides you from his rich friends? For a man who has never visited our village?" "Mama, he loves me," Amara pleaded. "He is my future husband." "Husband?" Mama Ngozi laughed bitterly. "A man is not your husband until he marries you. Amara, listen to me. The heart of a man is deceitful. Today he is dying, so you are his angel. Tomorrow, when he is strong, you might become a rag he uses to wipe his feet. Don't do this. If I don't, he dies, Mama. And I cannot live without him." Mama Ngozi looked at her daughter with pity. "You are sacrificing your life for a man who would not scratch his skin for you. I wash my hands of this. But remember my words." Amara ignored her mother's warning. She signed the consent forms. The surgery took 12 hours. It was complicated and dangerous. In the cold operating room, as they put Amara to sleep, her last thought was of Kelvin smiling at her. She woke up 2 days later in extreme pain. It felt like someone had dug a hole in her side. Every breath was a struggle. "Where is he?" was the first thing she whispered. The nurse smiled kindly. He is in the VIP recovery suite. He woke up yesterday. He is strong. His body accepted the kidney immediately. You saved him. Amara smiled weakly. She tried to stand, but the pain forced her back down. She waited for Kelvin to come. She waited for him to wheel himself into her room and say thank you. She waited for a text, a call, anything. 1 day passed. No Kelvin. 2 days passed. No Kelvin. Finally, on the 3rd day, Amara forced herself into a wheelchair. Holding her drip stand, she pushed herself down the hallway to the VIP suite. Her heart was beating fast. Maybe he was still too weak to move. Maybe the doctor stopped him. She pushed the door open. The room was filled with laughter. The air smelled of expensive perfume and fresh roses, hundreds of them. Kelvin was sitting up in bed, looking healthy, his skin glowing again. And sitting on the edge of his bed, feeding him grapes, was a woman. She was tall. Her skin was like polished ebony. Her hair fell down her back. Amara froze in the doorway. Kelvin looked up. His smile faded instantly. He didn't look happy to see her. He looked annoyed. Oh, Kelvin said flatly. Amara, you're awake. I came to see you, Amara stuttered, clutching her painful side. I was worried. You didn't call. Tiana looked Amara up and down with disgust. Kelvin, babe, who is this? Why is a patient in a hospital gown wandering into your private suite? It's unsanitary. Kelvin cleared his throat. He didn't say, this is the woman who saved my life. He didn't say, this is my girlfriend. Instead he said, she's just someone I know. Amara, I'm busy right now. Can you go back to your room? I'll send my PA to check on you later. Amara felt a pain sharper than the surgeon's knife. Kelvin? Busy? I gave you my kidney 3 days ago. I am in pain because of you. Tiana laughed, a cold, dry sound. Oh, so you're the donor? Well, thank you for your service, darling. We are very grateful. But as you can see, Kelvin is recovering with family now. You've done your job. The hospital will settle your bill. Family? Amara's voice shook. I am his family. We have been together for 5 years. Kelvin sighed, rubbing his temples. Amara, please, don't start drama here. My blood pressure needs to be stable. Look, I appreciate what you did. Really. But things have changed. This near-death experience. It opened my eyes. I realized I need to be with someone who matches my new life. Someone who fits the future I'm building. He grabbed Tiana's hand and kissed it. Tiana understands my world, Kelvin continued, not looking Amara in the eye. You are a good girl, Amara. But let's be honest, you belong to the past. And I can't be dragging the past into my future. Amara couldn't breathe. I gave you a part of my body. My mother warned me. I cut myself open for you. Kelvin reached for his checkbook on the bedside table. He scribbled something and tore off the paper. He held it out to her. Here's 5 million naira. That should cover your rent, your pain, and whatever else. Take it and go. Start a business. Find a nice village man. But please let us break up peacefully. Amara stared at the check. 5 million naira. The price of her kidney. The price of her love. She stepped forward, trembling. She took the check. Kelvin smiled, thinking she had accepted the deal. But then Amara tore the check into tiny pieces and threw them in his face. Keep your money, Kelvin, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. You think you can buy life? You think you can buy a soul? You have my kidney inside you. Every time you breathe, every time you pee, every time you live, you will remember me. I am part of you forever. And God is watching. Security, Tiana shouted. Get this mad woman out of here. 2 guards rushed in and grabbed Amara. They dragged her out of the room while she screamed in physical and emotional agony. They dumped her back in her ward. The next morning she was discharged. Kelvin had paid the hospital bill. That was his only kindness. Amara took a taxi back to her 1-room apartment. She sat on her thin mattress, holding her side, and cried until she had no tears left. Life became hell for Amara. Because she hadn't rested properly after the surgery, her remaining kidney started struggling. She was always tired. She couldn't do the heavy lifting required for her market jobs. She lost her job at the pure water factory because she fainted twice on duty. She was broke. Her landlord threatened to throw her out. She had to sell her phone just to buy antibiotics for the infection in her scar. Meanwhile, social media was buzzing. Billionaire Kelvin Okafor and supermodel Tiana set to wed in Dubai. The power couple of the year. Kelvin looked happier than ever. He was buying yachts, opening new branches, and Tiana was always by his side, dripping in diamonds. They mocked haters in their videos. Amara knew they were mocking her. One rainy evening, Amara was walking home from a pharmacy where she had gone to beg for pain relief on credit. She was soaked, shivering, and weak. A black Jeep splashed water all over her as it sped past. The Jeep stopped and reversed. The window rolled down. It was Tiana. "Amara," he said coolly, "I told you to take the money. You see? Pride goes before a fall. If you had taken the 5 million, you wouldn't be walking in the rain." "I don't need your money," Amara said, her teeth chattering. "I have my dignity." "Dignity doesn't buy umbrellas," Tiana scoffed. "Driver, move. She smells like poverty." The window rolled up and the car sped off, splashing her with mud again. Amara fell to her knees in the dirt. She looked up at the gray sky and screamed, "God, are you sleeping? Why do the wicked prosper? Why?" Just then a hand touched her shoulder. Amara flinched. She looked up to see a man holding a large umbrella over her. He was tall, with kind eyes and a gentle face. He wore a simple shirt, but he carried himself with grace. "Madam," the stranger said, his voice deep and soothing, "please get up. The ground is too cold for a woman like you." "Leave me alone," Amara sobbed. "I have nothing for you to steal." "I don't want to steal," the man said. He reached down and helped her up effortlessly. "My name is Dr. Felix. I saw what happened. I saw how they treated you. Please, my clinic is just down the street. Let me check you. You look like you are in pain." Amara hesitated, but her body gave way. She fainted into his arms. When she woke up, she was in a warm, clean bed. Not a hospital bed, but a comfortable room. Dr. Felix was sitting in a chair reading a book. He saw her stir and poured a glass of warm water. "You have a serious infection," Dr. Felix said gently. "And I noticed the scar on your side. Nephrectomy. You donated a kidney recently?" Amara nodded, tears welling up. "I gave it to a man who threw me away like garbage." Dr. Felix's eyes darkened with anger. "A man did that? He left you after you saved his life." Amara told him the whole story. She told him about Kelvin. He stood up and looked at her with intense sincerity. "I have been looking for a woman with a heart like yours. A woman who can love sacrificially. Amara, let me help you. Not because I pity you, but because I respect you." From that day, Amara's life changed. Dr. Felix didn't just treat her infection. He treated her heart. He moved her out of the slum. He helped her go back to school to finish her nursing degree, which she had abandoned to support Kelvin. Felix was different. He didn't hide her. He showed her off. He took her to events. He introduced her to his parents. He treated her scar like a badge of honor, kissing it and calling it her mark of courage. A year passed. Amara was no longer the sickly, poor girl. She was glowing. She was a qualified nurse, and she was engaged to Dr. Felix, one of the most eligible bachelors in the country. Kelvin's life, however, was not as perfect as it looked on Instagram. It started small. He felt tired. Just a little at first. Then the headaches came. Then the nausea. He thought it was stress. But then money started disappearing. Tiana was spending faster than he could earn. She demanded trips to Paris, new cars every month, parties that cost millions. "Tiana, we need to slow down," Kelvin warned her one night. "The company profits are down." "That's your problem, not mine," Tiana snapped, applying her makeup. "I am a supermodel. I have a lifestyle to maintain. If you can't afford me, just say so." Kelvin bit his tongue. He was afraid of losing her. He loved her image, her fame. Then the medical checkup came. Kelvin went to the hospital for his routine review. Dr. Cole looked at the results and frowned. "Mr. Kelvin," the doctor said gravely, "you haven't been taking your immunosuppressant drugs regularly, have you?" Kelvin shrugged. "I skipped a few weeks. Tiana said they make my breath smell and she threw some away. I felt fine, so I didn't buy any more." Dr. Cole dropped the file on the desk. "You fool. Those drugs stop your body from rejecting the kidney. Because you stopped taking them, your body has attacked the new kidney. It is failing, Kelvin. It is dying." Kelvin went pale. "Fix it, Tiana," he shouted, running into the bedroom. "We have a problem. My kidney is failing. I need a donor again." Tiana stopped packing her suitcase. She turned around, looking bored. "Oh, that's sad. But I have news too. I'm leaving." Kelvin stopped. "What?" "I'm leaving you, Kelvin," Tiana said coldly. "I saw the bank statements. You are nearly broke. And now you are sick again? I didn't sign up to be a nurse for a broke man. I have a date with a senator tonight. He has 2 kidneys and a private jet. Tiana, you can't leave me. Kelvin grabbed her arm. I bought you everything. I left Amara for you. Tiana laughed, shaking him off. That was your mistake, darling. Amara was a fool who gave you body parts for free. I am a businesswoman. I don't give refunds. She walked out the door, her heels clicking on the marble floor, leaving Kelvin alone in his empty, echoing mansion. Desperation set in. Kelvin tried to find a donor. But this time he had no money to bribe the list. His business partners had pulled out because of his reckless spending. He was alone. Then he heard about a grand medical gala happening in the city. The guest of honor was a famous philanthropist doctor who was funding kidney transplants for the poor. Kelvin thought, if I can get to this doctor, maybe he can help me for free. Maybe I can beg. Kelvin put on his old suit. It was loose on him now because he had lost so much weight. He looked like a ghost of his former self. He dragged himself to the event center. He stood at the back of the hall, dizzy and weak. The host walked to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the couple behind this foundation. Dr. Felix Egui and his beautiful fiancée, Nurse Amara. Kelvin's eyes almost popped out of his head. The spotlight moved to the stage. There she was, Amara. She looked like a queen. Her skin was radiant. She wore a golden gown that hugged her curves. She looked healthy, happy, and powerful. Beside her stood Dr. Felix, looking at her with total adoration. Kelvin couldn't believe it. The girl he called a wet rat. The girl he threw 5 million naira at. She was the one receiving a standing ovation. Amara took the microphone. I started this foundation, she said, her voice clear and strong, because I know what it means to give everything and be left with nothing. I know the pain of kidney failure. I gave my kidney to a man I loved and he left me to die. The crowd gasped. Murmurs filled the room. But, Amara continued, smiling at Felix, God is a God of restoration. He took away a stone and gave me a diamond. Today we are here to help those who truly appreciate the gift of life. Kelvin couldn't take it anymore. He pushed through the crowd, stumbling. Amara, Amara. The security guard stepped forward to stop him, but Amara raised her hand. Let him come. Kelvin fell at her feet in front of hundreds of people. He looked pathetic. Amara, please. It's me, Kelvin. I made a mistake. The devil used me. Tiana left me. My kidney is failing again. I am dying. You are the only one who ever loved me. Please ask your fiancé to help me. I know you still have feelings for me. The hall went silent. Everyone waited for Amara's reaction. Amara looked down at him. She didn't feel hate. She didn't feel love. She felt pity. Kelvin, she said softly into the microphone. You had a king's feast, but you poured it into the sand to chase a mirage. I gave you life once. I cannot give it to you again. I have only 1 kidney left, and I need it to live for the man who cherishes me. But I will die. Kelvin wept, clutching the hem of her dress. Dr. Felix stepped